Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So what I'm currently doing is I'm preparing my client here to do a blended traditional sew-in. So what is a blended traditional sew-in? So what it is where I apply tracks into my client's hair to add either volume or length, depending on what me and my client discuss within our consultation. So with my client today, she wanted to add in tracks for length. Her hair leans more to the fuller side, so she doesn't need tracks technically for volume, but she wants to add tracks to give her more length and just change the look of her hair for a couple of weeks. With her sew-in, she usually keeps it about up to 6 weeks, so almost a month and a half. With the blended sew-in, it is easy for you to hide the tracks. Also, it's easy for you to wear your hair in versatile styles. You could wear it down, you could wear it in a low pony, and you could wear it in a ponytail about your ear length. So that's what you guys going to see me do. Now, her hair is relaxed. I do highly suggest that if you are doing this on curly hair, please get tracks that match your pattern of your hair when your hair is in this curly state, and then blow the hair out and then wear it straight if you want to, because you do not want to get straight hair and your hair is naturally curly, because when your actual hair reverts back, the straight hair will of course still be straight and you will have a huge line of demarcation, and then of course it's very visible and noticeable that you have in tracks. So we don't want to do that with this system. This is a blended system, so it's to blend and give the illusion of a change in fullness or length in the hair. All right, so what am I doing right now? I am taking out the hair that is necessary that I don't want to braid. I also want to make sure on both sides it is balanced. Balance is very important when you're doing hair in general, but of course when you're adding in tracks, you want to make sure everything is balanced on both sides to temple. So once you're blending, it all looks natural, right? Because if it's unbalanced, it won't look natural and it won't look cute. So that's currently what I'm doing right now. Now, of course, I am taking out about 3 inches in the back of the hairline because you want to be able to hide the track when your client is putting her hair up in a ponytail. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. And then on each side, I leave a little bit out, and I will be doing a small braid right here. So this will be where I will be laying the track. I will lay a track under the braid, I will lay a track on top of the braid, and I will lay the third track a little bit above the first track that was on top of the braid. So right now what you see me doing is sewing down the actual braid close to the end, so when I apply the track, it won't unravel when I actually take out the rubber band and I blend that portion of her hair in with the tracks. So I just will be repeating that all the way up to above her hairline. Not her hairline, I'm sorry, above her ear. All right, so what you guys see me doing is this is me, of course, taking out another portion for the blended area, and then I will be dividing this once again because this was where I will apply the braid. Now, of course, I made sure it was even on both sides of where the braid stops and where the braid begin. Now, I will be doing this braid the opposite side that I did the last braid. The one under there, as you can see, is hanging. So this side, I will be braiding on this side and the braid will be hanging off on the opposite side. So you want to do them on the opposite side so it can balance out when you are blending the hair in. So once again, I did the same technique. I braided down, make sure I put a rubber band right there. I use clear rubber bands because the rubber bands will be taken out. So I want to be able to easily see the rubber bands. By using rubber bands the color of your client's hair, it can be hard to see when you're taking out. So it's just more so you can move quicker and you can actually see what you're doing. But once again, like I did, I sewed the actual braid down so it can be more of an anchor for the actual tracks. All right, so now where we're going is above the ear. So in this area, this is where you get into that horseshoe look when you are parting. So what I'm currently going to do is I'm going to take out a portion of the hair. It's going to look like a horseshoe. Um, and in that, they will meet in the middle. So I would do a braid on the left, I would do a braid on the right, and they will meet in the middle, and I would sew them together in the middle to be the anchor for the track. So as you guys can see, that's what I'm currently doing. I'm making sure it's, of course, even on both sides. That's very important, you guys. Make sure it's even on both sides. Make sure you take out the only portion that you need to braid. Do not braid too unnecessary hair. Now that's what I'm currently doing. I am braiding and I'm meeting in the middle. Make sure you meet in the middle with this braid. You do not go all the way left. You do not go all the way right. You meet in the middle. And you want to make sure your braids are thick enough to hold a track, but you want it to make sure they're small enough to be flat because you want it to be flat, you guys. You don't want to have thick, bulky braids. So that's what I'm currently doing is I'm meeting in the middle with these two braids, and I'm just doing the same thing that I did at the ends. I made sure I put a rubber bands at the ends. I make sure they meet in the middle. In this part, you want to make sure it's very, very flat when you're sewing it down because you want to be able to put that track in place without it being bulky. So that's what I'm currently doing is just laying the braids down and just sewing them right in the middle, and there you go. So this is how I start off the foundation of adding in the tracks. I always do the braid part first, and then I follow through by adding in my tracks, and then I follow through by blending and straightening. So that's what you guys see me doing. And currently I didn't put the where you guys can see the hair that my client has, but it's like a Vivica box collection. When I tell you this hair, I love it. Like the track, it's so flat. It was easy to sew on. So if I see this hair like on Amazon or something where I can put the link down below, I definitely will because that is some good hair. You hear me, guys? Vivica did her thing on that. That is some good hair, good hair. So currently what I'm doing is I'm just sewing the track under the first braid that I did because I once again, like I said, this is adding in for length. So you could do this for length and width. You can make sure you sew under the track because it's easier to blend when you decide to put your hair up in a ponytail. Once the track is under the braid, it helps with covering up the braid so you can't see it. So that's what I'm currently doing. I am just sewing under the braid, and then I will follow through by cutting the track. I cut the track for this. So if you want to do it differently than that, of course you can. But personally, me, I cut the track because I feel like with cutting the track, it does give more of a better blendage. But I do see a lot of people, and even in the tutorial here, I did like the double weft. So I don't think it's nothing wrong with doing the double weft. I just felt like for this, I wanted the hair to be really super flat against her head. So I cut the track and she was fine with that. So of course, utilize hair that you're comfortable cutting the track when you're doing this. So this is me layering the second layer of hair on top of her track. and then I will layer a third, because once again she's doing this for length, so I want to make sure I can put as many as tracks on one braid as possible, where it looks natural, but also it provides the reason why she wanted to add in the hair, which is for length, right? So when you are sewing the hair on top of the braid and you're putting the track on top of the braid, that's what I meant to say, is make sure you are sewing real close together, because when you have those gaps in between your sew, the track actually lift up and you shorten the track, and it looks bulky when a person tries to do things like put it in a ponytail or style it or whatever like that, or it makes it more loose and your client has to come in sooner to take the actual tracks out then sooner than they want to. You want to be able to, me, I always say, do not keep any type of hairstyle longer than 8 weeks, because you do need to take care of your hair. So you do need to be able to wash your hair. You need to be able to deep condition your hair. So if your hair is in its healthiest state before you do the style, you can go up to 8 weeks. If it's not, go to a professional to examine your hair to even see if your hair is healthy enough to do it. So as you guys see, I'm going to the second braid. So with the second braid, I believe I just added in 2 tracks. I don't believe I did 3 this time. I don't believe I did. But of course, with this one, you can do the same thing. If you want to add in 3 tracks, you can do it the same way I did. You add the bottom track right under the braid. Of course, you add a track right on top of the braid. And then you add your third track just a little bit, like a little bit above that first track that's on top of the braid. So what I'm currently doing is I'm adding this under the track. If you want to make sure you can have an anchor to hold the hair, then of course you can always do what I did. As you guys see, I put that pin right there, and that's just to help me keep the track in place when I am sewing, so it just be easier. But of course you can always ask your clients to assist by holding on to the hair as well, like my client is doing right now. And all I'm doing is the same exact thing that I told you guys I did the last time. Put the track under the braid, put the track on top of the braid, and just keep repeating that same system until you are finished and you cover each braid. So with my client hair, her hair was more brown, and her new growth is black. So she got the color to match her new growth instead of to match the color of her hair. So it blend nicely. But what I would have done in this instant is make sure you do a rinse. Like if your hair is the different color than your tracks, then just put a rinse on top of your hair. If your hair is lighter than the track, then you can apply a rinse the color of the track and it will just wash out over time. But if the track is lighter than your hair, then you will have to do something totally different, and that's a whole different type of video. So in this aspect, her hair was lighter than her track, so we could have applied a rinse to make her hair black, but of course she didn't want to do that. So of course I always make suggestions, but it's the client decision on how they would like to move through this world when it comes to their hair. So that's what I'm doing. This is the last braid. Remember, this is the one that I said is the horseshoe, and you do the same thing. I just made sure that I applied the track under the braid, and I made sure I apply a track on top of the braid, and that is that. Then drop them drawers. I know what you want. I ask myself, is this shit real? I contemplate about how I feel, but you make it way too hard to think that this could be what you love. It took a lot of hard shit just to learn how not to break down and stop it. No matter what I've seen in the past,
someone that it impact. I'll be grown now, baby. But can't let it slip away, drift away, can go to waste, go to waste. I say it straight to your face, won't contemplate. You got to play that, babe. I don't wanna wait another minute for you. I know you got me falling from the ceiling for you. Knew it from the start, there was no limit to you. And I'm catching feelings, baby.
I wanna all night. Say it. I wanna all night.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. And usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't.
So at this point, I'm combing the hair down and I'm just looking around to see maybe if it's some places I want to add more tracks or whatever like that. This is where you take in and you just dive into your creativity and you think about how do I want this to look? How do I want this to lay? You know, things like that. So of course I took out the rubber bands or whatever like that. So I'm about to start straighten the hair to see how everything looks because I am going to add in more tracks, but I want to wait till I get to that point to speak more about that. But right now I'm just straightening her hair with the flat irons, and then of course I'm straightening the tracks as well, and I am going to put layers in her hair to blend the tracks in with her hair so it can look more natural. So right now all you see me doing is just straighten the hair to see how everything lays, see how everything looks when she wants to put it up in a ponytail and everything like that. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Just to know you want you, so confused want you. Can I tell you something for what it's worth? If you had it, that's on nothing. Take you there, I'll take you. Show you something, give you more than words. If you had it, that's on nothing. Take you there, I'll take you there. Take you there, won't you? Fill me up till my cup's overflowing. I'm so anxious just to feel the silence. It's so quiet, but I hear you saying to me, baby. Said our time we're making up time. The time you wasn't with me waking up. Now you never said I couldn't let you touch. I needed to distance myself from you. I was just alone with you. So confused, won't you? Can I tell you something for what it's worth? We've had it, that's on nothing. Take you there, I'll take you. Show you something, give you more than words. We've had it, that's on nothing. Take you there, I'll take you there.
So right here at this point is where I realized I wanted to add in more tracks. And so I did it the same way where I told you about the horseshoe. So that's what I'm currently doing is I'm just dividing the hair like a horseshoe and I'm braiding and beating the braids in the middle. Do not meet the braids at the out interior of the hair because it will not look right. It will show that you have a track added in. No, you want to just make sure you divide the hair, braid it, make sure the braids are small but also thick enough to hold a track, and also make sure the two braids meet in the middle, and then you just sew it down. So this is where I say you just lean into your creativity and you see where you want to add tracks, how many more tracks you want to add, and so forth and so on. So that's what I'm currently doing right here. And I'm going to add a couple more tracks into my client's hair.
You never know when to chill. Always talk about keep it real. Only till you've had your fill. Then you wanna cry ill will. Really thought you know the deal. Oh well, I guess that's what happens. Two fools be falling in love. Mixing some pain and some passion. Nothing is ever real. You can take my hand. I promise we'll fall love again. Love again. Yeah, yeah. If you can take my hand, I promise we'll find love again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't even say what's up. Round your bush, crack so tough. Like you never been in love. If you don't quit acting up, along this way it's on enough. I promise. You may think that I'm crazy. You should ask around about me. Put your trust in me, baby. I wake from my slumber. I wish I could call you up. Miss how you put your love on me.
Hey, boy, you got my number. Wish I could feel your touch. Wish you could follow up on me.
Hold on until the end. Hold on till you can't extend. I'll be clinging on to you.
All right, so I'm slowing this down real quick because I want you guys to see how her hair looks in a ponytail, because that was one of the most important things my client wanted to make sure she can put her hair back into a ponytail and no tracks are showing. So of course I'm removing anything I had in her hair because, like I said, remember I had those rubber bands, so I'm removing the rubber bands. But I want you guys to see how it blends so nicely and to cover up all the tracks as she decides to put her hair in a ponytail. So hopefully you guys, yeah, see, it's just on each side blend so nicely. So with this type of way that I put it in, she could put her hair in a ponytail and just go on her way and just style it in a cute nice ponytail. So let's get to the rest of styling. All right, so this is kind of a side note that I was sitting back thinking about when I was editing this video. What I love so much about social media is like the creativity of social media, right? The fact of like me being a stylist and being able to, share my technique and how I do things. But the great thing about social media is that you can go on here. I'm currently from Houston, right? I can actually go on here and see how a stylist from like London or a stylist from like Dallas or a stylist from like Kansas City or somewhere across the globe, how they do things and how they execute a service. Because of course this is how I do it when it comes to being able to have a versatile sew in, and also it being traditional where you leave your hair out. That's why I'm so big on making sure you keep your hair healthy, because when your hair is healthy, it gives you so many options of what you can do with your hair. So I always lean towards what is healthy for the hair before I lean towards what is the best style for the hair. So due to the fact my client hair is very healthy, we were able to do this style, and then of course she can go into a different style. But I just wanted to have that little food for thought conversation with you guys. But this is coming to the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys learned something from this. And if so, please take out the time to hit the thumbs up to let me know that you like something, and also to help other people grow on the platform by hitting that thumbs up. It allows the algorithm, I think that's the name of it, to surface this video across. And also leave comments down below if you have done traditional sew-ins. How have you done it? Do you like traditional sew-ins? Do you not like them? Like, let's have conversations down below. And if you don't have anything to say, then send a heart and a smiley face, and I send one right back to you guys. And remember to always drink your water for healthy hair, skin, and nails. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Have a great day.